grid is going to execute this command drop table if exists, and then user table, and then to create it again on create db. So now what we're going to do is we're going to write a function to store the user details. So we have that here. We have that right here. So the function is going to use the sqlite database, and because we're writing, we're going to use this. We're going to use the writable database. So this is referring to the context, and this means you're going to write to the database. So we need the get writable database, and then we are going to have context values, which is going to use for inputting the values into the database. So values of put will be adding the user's email and the user's password. Next we are going to do is inserting it. So we are going to be inserting it with the db method db.insert, and that is a long. So after you are done, we're just going to close the database. This is not really necessary, but if you want to keep logs, you can include this. So let me just create a tag right here: public static final string tag is equals db helper that's class that's get simple name. So I'm done here. So this method is going to insert the user's details into the database, and then another method for checking whether the details are correct when the user tries to log in. So that's right here. So I'm going to be using a boolean function, which is get user, which needs the user's email and password, and then I have a select query here. That's just like select star from where username is equals to this and username is password equals to this. If it's true, it's going to return true. If it's false, it's going to return false. So since we are reading from the database, we are going to use the get readable database here, and the cursor is used to read from the database. So it's going to loop through the database to see whether it can get that value that the user inputted. So we have the move to first row. The cursor starts from the first row and then it loops through the database to find out whether there are any entries inside. So if we are able to get a count, if you're able to get a record of the user, it's going to return true here. Let me just comment. Let me just take this out. If not, it will just return false. So after that is done, it closes the cursor and then close the database. So we are done with our database. What we are going to do next is to have a session. That's what is going to check whether the user is logged in or not. So our session here is going to have shared preferences, an editor, and a context. And it's going to use a constructor. This is where we set the context here to the context here, so they're equal. And these preferences, we are using, I'm using a preference name which is called my app. I'm setting the mode to private, so that it becomes private to just the application. No one can access it. And then this method here is what we are going to use to set whether the user is logged in or not. So as soon as the user logs in, we are going to set this to true. So we are going to put the logged in mode here to true, and then we're going to commit it to the preferences. So this last method here is going to check whether the user is logged in. So if the user is logged in, this default value for this method will not hold. But then if a user is not logged in, it's just going to set it to false. And so that will take the user out of the main activity to the login activity. So we're just going to apply that right here. Now that we have our database and our session, we're going to add it to our login main activity and also our register activity. So I'm going to start with the register activity first. So since we are using a database helper, we need to initialize it. We call it here db helper db, and then we're going to initialize it here. db is equal to db helper. And db helper just takes the context, so this is equal to new db helper, sorry. So db helper just takes the context of the class, so that's just this. So we creating a method for registration, so private void register, and then we'll take the email and password from the user, so et email dot get text dot string pass equal to et pass dot get text dot to string. So if email dot is empty and pass dot is empty, then it should display a toast that username or password field empty, else it should add the user to the database. Add user, if you're adding the email and the password, then you display those that user registered. Then finish the activity. So let me just create my toast method right here. Private void display toast. Toast will make text get application context, it is a parameter, so string message, so message and short let's show. Okay, so we're done. Oh, okay, so pass. So I'm done here. Okay, but before I start running the application, I'm not running it just yet, but then let me just have my emulator run. Okay, so I'm done with the registration. I'll move on to the login activity. We also need a db upper here. db is equal to new db helper this, and going to create a method for the login. Private void login string email equal to email get text into string and string password pass get text string. So if db.get user email comma password, if this is true, then I'm going to move to the main activity. So login activity dot this, then main activity dot class. And then I'll just close this activity so it never shows up. Else I'll display a toast on the screen that's nigga, this ain't right. So wrong email or password, and then short let's show. Okay, so I'm done here. So right here I'll just have if the ID is login or login, if the ID is register, I'll take start activity new intent. So login activity dot this and start activity dot class. All right. Guess I'm done here. So what we left here, okay, my emulator has started now, so I'll run this in a moment. What we are left with is we're done with our we're not done with this yet. What we're left with is to add a session to our activities. So we're going to add a session on the main activity and the login activity. So on the login activity, we have to declare the session class here, session, and then session is equal to new session. This also is the context. So we're going to check here that if session dot logged in, so if you're checking if the session is logged in, then if the session is, if the user is already logged in, that means just take the user straight to the main activity. So finish, and then we'll do the same. So okay, we are checking here, and then we should know that when the user logs in, the first thing it does is to create a session. You have to set the session to true. So session right here, if db.get user email password, if it's true, if his email password are true and they are in the records, that means you are going to add a session set logged in. So you're going to set his logged in to true, so that the next time he goes and opens the app, it will be true. So we're going to do the same in the main activity as well. We're going to check here. We need a session here as well. Private session. So session to go to new session. This. So I'm just there right here. If the session is not, if the user is not logged in, we are going to log out the user. So the exclamation mark there means not. It used to mean not. So I'll create a logout. Logout. Hey, that is boy logout. Session. Set login false. And I'll finish the activity. And start activity new intent. And activity this. Login activity. It's class. So I have to set the on-click listener, new on-click listener. Then when the user clicks on the logout, it logs him out. So logout right here. And I think we're done. So let's run this and see if it's going to work as we expect it to work. So I'm running it on my emulator. I hope I don't get any error somewhere, or I didn't miss anything. Okay, so my application is running. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to register a new user. Tech hobbyist. At gmail.com. Rather, and then my password I'm going to make it QWERTY. So register. Did I create a toast for it? I'm not sure I did. Let me check something else. Oh, something is kind of wrong in my application. Let me check to see if I've hit any errors. Oh, I didn't mention. I didn't call it. Damn. So button register. I'm going to call register here. Sorry guys, I forgot to call the register method. And then the TV login to I'm going to call start activity new intent register with this login activity class. Let's finish activity. So now let's run it. Thank God we have hot swappable. We're just going to run it very fast, quickly. Wow, it still takes long. Okay, so the things have been applied. So let me just register. The user registered. So now let's log in and see. Check this at Gmail. com. Let me try entering a different password. I'll add QWERT. I'll not add a Y and let's see what happens. If it tells the wrong email and password, let me just add a Y now. Then I'm logged in. So you can see the application is working perfectly. So let me just go out of the app and then I'll just clear it from the stack. And then I'll go back to the app. Where can I find this? Okay, sign up login. So you can see that it still counts as this. It takes me straight to the main activity and not the login activity because as the user has signed in. So you can see that your app is working now. It's perfectly functional. So yeah. So the few changes you can make is that you can make the password encrypted. I might probably do a video on that, but I'm not sure. Log out. So I hope you guys like the tutorial. Kindly subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.